We have 22-year-old GM Kirill Shevchenko has been expelled from the 2024 Spanish Team Championship with his draw against Grandmaster Bassem Amin in round 1 and his win over GM Francisco Paco Vallejo in round 2 turned into losses. When Shevchenko's regular absence from the board aroused suspicion in round 2, a locked phone was found in the toilet with arbiters claiming a link of the phone to Shevchenko based on handwriting and behavior. All right. So very, very serious stuff. I'll pay attention to both people who are writing on Twitch and of course on X as well. This is very, very disappointing to hear. But let's keep going with the article, and obviously I'll give some opinions as well. The 2024 Spanish Team Championship Honor Division taking place in the North African Spanish city of Melilla, I guess it should be pronounced, from October 12th to 18th, has been shaken by a scandal after Shevchenko, playing for California Cia Integras Colegios, was expelled from the tournament. Okay, so no actual meat to it so far. Let's keep it rolling. Okay, so what do we have here? We have Shevchenko, who was born in Ukraine and has since switched to represent Romania, is a world number 69 and became a grandmaster at the age of 14 years and 9 months. His greatest achievements include winning the 2021 European Team Chess Championship with Ukraine, as well as the individual Lindor's Abbey Blitz in Riga in the same year, where he topped the table ahead of GM's Fabiano Caruana and Arjun Erigaisi. So, yeah, this is quite a serious thing, because you were talking about someone who is very, very strong, number 69. Yes, I do get that, you guys. We're talking about someone who's number 69 in the world. We're not talking about someone who's like number 200 or around there. Actually, I'm honestly not sure where Igor Zrauzis was. But this is someone who is in the top 100 in the world of chess, and this is over the board chess. Let's keep going. Chief Arbiter Oscar Bruno de Prado Rodriguez summarized his decision. Firmly believing, and in light of the evidence gathered throughout the investigation, that this player has made use of the mobile phone during the game, in addition to ignoring my request to notify me when he left the room, in breach of FIDE rules, I decided to impose the following sanction. Number 1, to forfeit the 2 games played in round 1 against Amin Bassem and in round 2 against Francisco Vallejo Pons, based on Article 12.8, which prohibits the use of mobile devices. The 2 opponents in round 1 and 2 win their games, meaning that even though he drew against Amin and beat Vallejo, the games were overturned and he gets 2 losses instead. Okay, a complete report, number 3, a complete report, or actually number 2, it says to expel Kirill Shevchenko from the competition, as it is considered a very serious infringement based upon Article 129.9.9. Number 3, a complete report with all the evidence will be submitted to the FIDE Technical Committee of Arbiters and the FIDE Ethics Commission. Okay. All right. So this is very shocking, to put it mildly. I mean, you're talking about someone who's in the top 100 in the world. Now, obviously, as you guys know, there is this thing called innocent until proven guilty. But it does not look very good. It does not look good at all. The decision explains that an investigation was sparked by Vallejo complaining to the arbiter that his round 2 opponent Shevchenko was spending way too long away from the board. The arbiter raised the question with Shevchenko, who said he had a problem and he had to visit the toilet. The arbiter reminded the player that it was necessary to ask permission to visit the toilet located outside the playing hall in a common area with 2 cubicles and 3 urinals. Okay. A little bit weird they need to put exactly what there is, but anyway, you know, not really the meat of the story. The visits continued with the arbiter asking a member of the organizing committee to investigate. He saw Shevchenko visiting an individual cubicle and there found a new mobile phone with a handwritten note: "No toques, el teléfono se dejó para que el huésped contestara por la noche." Don't touch this telephone. It has been left so the owner can answer it at night. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of wild, but I actually want to talk about one very important thing, which is one thing that I think people kind of forget about chess tournaments, and this is a big issue broadly speaking, is that outside of the very top tournaments where you have say 10 to let's say 14 players, and you really have a small venue where you have set restaurants with players, you have pretty good security. Most tournaments in chess, whether it's a team tournament, whether it's an open event, you're talking about a lot of players who basically are playing the event, and frankly the amount of money or the prize fund that's in these events is nowhere near the amount of money required to have serious security measures in place. So it's a very serious problem. And I would say, like, honestly, I played in the German Bundesliga in March of this year, and There were probably, I'm going to guess, maybe 10 arbiters, but there were a lot of people watching the games. There were a lot of people who could come into the building and just watch and mingle with people who had finished their games. And frankly, the restrooms even, they were like basically public. You would go downstairs to the basement area and you go in the restroom. So this is a very serious problem. Oh, the number is relevant because he chose not to use the empty cubicle. Okay. Oh, that's why. Okay, well, I mean, I haven't gotten through the whole article. So yes, this is really a problem with chess as it pertains to events that don't have 10 to 14 players. I use 14 because there's Vicon Z, which has 14. Most top level tournaments have something like 10 to 12 players normally, but still, if you don't have a small tournament where you have a big prize from big sponsors and you can apply the proper security measures, this is always going to be an issue. So let's keep going with the article. Here we go. It says the phone was confiscated and the toilet was ordered to be locked around 2.5 hours into the round, with the cleaner revealing that a similar phone had been found there the day before and left unclaimed after it was handed into reception. Okay. So there was a phone that was unclaimed. Okay. How do you use the phone to cheat? Is he contacting Deep Blue? I mean, the reality of modern day chess is, if you're a complete beginner at the game of chess and you have access to your phone, you can beat the best players in the world. You can beat Magus, you can beat me, and not even close. As long as you know how to move the chess pieces, if you have an engine on your phone, you literally can beat the best chess players in the world because computers are simply that much better. Additionally, a lot of top level tournaments are relayed over the intranets these days, thanks to Al Gore. So because a lot of tournaments are relayed over the internet, many cases, like if you go to chess.com events page or you go to Lead Chess, you can see the games. There's an engine built into the page, so like for people who are watching to see who's better and worse with the eval bar and everything else. And so if someone has access to the internet, they can basically go and they can cheat. That's how it goes. Anyway, let's keep going with the article. After the round, the arbiters compared the handwritten note to Shevchenko's score sheets for rounds 1 and 2 and found similarities in the ink and handwriting. They also know the phone's time zone was 1 hour ahead of Spain, 2 hours ahead of nearby Morocco. That may hint at the time zone in Romania. So this is interesting, actually, because this is probably, if we're looking at it from the standpoint of assuming Shevchenko is innocent, this is where I actually wonder, did they consult experts on this, or did they just like they just decided this? Because when you talk about similarities in ink and handwriting, that feels like something that should be dealt with by the authorities, not by arbiters who frankly are not experienced in this. So this would be a big question. If they brought in like some kind of expert to compare stuff, then this actually could be quite serious. Anyway, let's keep going. When challenged on the details with help from teammate GM Daniel Yufa as an interpreter, Shevchenko denied everything. Okay, so here's an article, or here's a statement by the Spanish Federation. Se comunica que en el día de hoy se ha sancionado al jugador Kirill Shevchenko, integrante del equipo de se integran colectivos, con la pérdida de sus partidas. So that means, yeah, they're talking about the day in question. They sanctioned the chess player Kirill Shevchenko, and he loses both games con la pérdida de sus partidas disputadas en la primera y la segunda ronda. Así como con su expulsión del campeonato. So basically saying that they sanctioned him, he lost both games, and they expelled him from the tournament. So all pretty normal. Obviously I can understand this because I speak Italian. So even if I don't speak Spanish very well, most of the words are very similar. So it's pretty straightforward. What a move? What do you mean? Yeah, I mean, Spanish and Italian are very similar. So, I mean, I pretty much can understand this, even though I don't really speak Spanish. But yeah, anyway, they say round 1, round 2, la Feda mantiene, they maintains the compromise, actuando de la manera más enérgica, I should say, posible el cualquier caso que se detecte. Lamentos profundamente que estos hechos. Yeah, so they're saying they really lament having to take this decision. Independent resolution, yeah, will be dealt with by FIDE, anti-commission, FEDA, and everything else. Speak English. This is America. I don't know, you guys, you might not know this, but we have a thing called this border, and I'm not so sure American's going to be the main language for that much longer. But anyway, all right, enough of the nonsense. Let's keep going with the article. Here we go. So good Italian is proficient in Spanish. I mean, Spanish and Italian are very similar. You just have a lot of endings and a lot of little things are different. I mean, they're very, very similar. But anyway, let's keep going with the article. The arbiters note that 2 more complaints were received. GM Jose Carlos Ibarra Jerez who, by the way, I played him. He's a bar on chess.com, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I have actually played against him. Representing his teammate, Amin notes that Amin had privately noticed Shevchenko's absence from the board during round 1. Amin told chess.com he was still shocked and explained, "For me, I would say things started to get strange at move 6. He played his move and left the playing hall for more than 10 minutes, and this was repeated many times in the next moves. I thought he had stomach problems, but at some point I decided to kind of see where he is, and he was standing outside the toilet room, and when he saw me, he went back into the playing hall, and then at some point in the game, he stopped going out till the game was finished." Okay, this is actually wild, because I'm going to tell you guys a fun fact. A fun fact. It's very frequent, actually, that when I play chess games, you know, you're very nervous. You've got a lot of pressure. It's actually quite common for me to go and this is going to be a YouTube video, so how do I put this correctly is what I'm trying to figure out. It's very common for me to like go out one time the first 10 moves and go take relieve myself, shall we say, and then I feel great. I'm relaxed, I'm all good to play the game. But it's very common, actually, for me in the first 10 moves, like one time, to go out and do that if my opponent isn't moving instantly. But the problem with this is that it says many times. That's actually the big problem with it. It's like if someone does it once, you know, it's fine, but it sounds like you would literally go out for 10 minutes multiple times, and that's already not good. That's already not good. When you look at circumstantial evidence, to be standing outside, like this is standing outside the toilet room is definitely a little bit weird, to put it mildly. But anyway, let's keep going. Okay, asked how it affected him during the game, Amin commented, "Generally, I try not to think about it too much if someone is maybe cheating, because then you can't really play. But when it happened many times, it was really not good, especially that when he came back to the board, he would play very fast and really good." Now that's also, yeah, that's also not a good sign. Not a good sign. But okay, Vallejo also submitted analysis of the game he lost Shevchenko. Those noteworthy that for much of the game, Shevchenko would not have had access to a phone if he had been using a phone in the toilet. You can play through the 2 games below. Okay. The forfeit loss for Shevchenko will change the score, but not the result of his team's 4.5, 1.5 win in round 1. But the round 2 3-3 draw will now be turned into a 4-2 loss. Okay, so there's actually not a lot of meat to this. Actually, they talk about going to the bathroom. I mean, the specifics are kind of vague here, though I'm sure, of course, all this will be in the report that's given to FEDA and FIDE, or the Ethics Commission. But yeah, this is very disappointing, though. I'm going to be honest, because like if we talk about things from an honest standpoint, honest point of view, the one thing that I think almost all top players would agree upon is that when it comes to online chess, being able to patrol hundreds of people in certain tournaments, for example, is very, very difficult. I think everybody would agree with that. But when it comes to over the board, we always assume that that over the board turns, it's not possible for somebody to cheat. And so for someone at this level who's near 2,700, of course, we don't know if he did cheat, just to be very clear on that. This is very, very disappointing, because you're talking about someone who's number 69 in the world, top 100, really close to breaking through. And if the evidence is there, I mean, he's probably going to get banned from chess for maybe like 5 years. And you know, I would also say there was a case of Sebastian Feller in the past, who was a French player who I think was banned for a couple of years as well. And it's just really it's really sad to see. It's really sad to see. But there's also no excuse for it either. At the same time, there's no excuse if the evidence is there and he cheated, then you know you get what you deserve. I can't believe that someone would you know, if we presume that he did, would be this stupid. It's crazy. It's actually crazy. It's just crazy. Didn't they find a phone with a handwritten note? Well, they say that it matches his handwriting, but like what I would say about this is what does that mean? Like when it says they say here, where is it? It says by the way, we're on a slight delay for anybody who's wondering, so I'm not reacting in exact real time, so obviously for Title Tuesday there has to be a delay. So in case anybody's wondering, so the comments, it's a little bit janky, but they say they did an investigation on the handwriting right down here, and similarities in the ink and handwriting. Now, if they brought in someone from like the police or some authority to actually compare, and that's actually the case, that's very, very damning. And I would hope that's what they did, and I'm sure like all that will be in their report. But if that's the case, that the ink and the handwriting are the same, I mean, it's like one of those episodes of CSI, or it's like forensic science, and it's probably GG why not, is what I would say. I really do not understand why a GM would cheat so much to lose. So I'm going to give you guys, I've said it many times, and I see there are people in X writing too. You know, the way that I look at chess is very simple. It's a very, very tough way to earn a living. It's something where if you're not in the top 20 in the world, you're really struggling. It's a big grind. You're really trying to make ends meet. Now, mind you, you're not poor or broke. I mean, you get to travel the world. You get to play a game with carved wooden pieces. But making an actual living is very difficult. And I think that at the end of the day, like the incentive, if we assume that he did this, is probably that if he gets over 2,700, organizers are going to notice his rating, his name, and he's going to get more invitations. That's my guess. Kramnik was right all along. Being right about one person out of 3,678, as someone said earlier, doesn't exactly that's like, yeah, okay, you're right once. That doesn't mean you're actually right though. But that being said, yeah, it's very it's very sad to see. It's very very sad to see to see this. I mean, I assume that we'll see what the evidence is at some. Well, I mean, maybe we literally won't, the public, but I assume FIDE will see the evidence. And like, you know, if the ink and the handwriting actually are the same, like literally if they tested the pen or whatever, I mean, if they tested the pen and it's the same, like I mean, this article said he aroused suspicion. Well, you know what's funny, actually, I've said this on stream before, but there was a tournament in London. There was a London Chess Classic that I played, I think in, I don't know, like 2014, 2015. Nepo and I were both playing there, and Nepo and I were going to the restroom too frequently. So actually at a certain point, one of the arbiters basically followed us to the restroom every time, which was really, really funny in retrospect. But yeah, that's actually the that's actually, you know, like there was one of those London Chess Classics where Nepo and I were going to the restroom too much, and one of the arbiters, like, he kept telling me to walk and follow us to the bathroom, and that's yeah, it wasn't great for the arbiter, at least. But anyway, I've already said that before a few times on stream, but this is really sad. I'm gonna be honest, like, this is really, really a big problem. And I think what it speaks to is that you have to have a controlled environment. I mean, honestly, you would think that getting, you know, the getting caught and having your career end would be incentive enough not to, but I mean, maybe it's not. But yeah, this is really really sad to see. Really sad to see. Yeah, it's what it is. It is what it is. We're gonna be playing chess in a second. We're gonna play Title Tuesday. But yeah, I mean, it's just, yeah, it's rough. It's rough. And I cannot for the life of me understand how someone like, we assumed that he deserves a second chance though, nonetheless. You know, I mean, we'll see what happens here, but I would honestly, if I'm being sorry if I'm repeating myself, but if I'm being honest, I don't actually agree with that statement. I think there should be severe punishments. I think if the punishment is not severe enough for doing it once, then like, what even is the point? I mean, because like in a way, you have to set an example. I'm not saying no second chance. I don't really believe in that, but I mean, I think it has to be a pretty harsh punishment. Like if the ink and everything are like that, the police are investigating who the phone belongs to. I just think that's you know, that's the reality. Because like, if you think about it, if you think about some kid who sees it, and let's just say he gets like, you get a little, like, you get a 1 month ban. I mean, you get a 1 month ban, and someone's gonna be like, well, you know, if I can cheat and get my rating up 200 points and not get caught, like, it's great. So I think you know, if the proof is there, and like someone said, if police are investigating if the handwriting, the ink actually matches the phone that he had, it's like it's pretty brutal. I think Sebastian Feller from France got a did he get a 2-year ban or was it a 4-year ban? I don't remember how long his ban was, but Sebastian Feller was banned for a while for cheating. I think it was, I feel like it was actually 3 years for some reason. I don't think it was 2 feels too short, but you know, yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, it's very just crazy. It's just crazy that someone who has their whole life ahead of them, they're 2694 or something, they're on the road to becoming a top 20 player potentially. Like, it's just insane. I just cannot understand, for me, the motivation. I just can't understand, because if you get caught, your career is done. Like, even if the ban is 2 years, for example, when he comes back, nobody's going to invite him to tournaments. Nobody's going to want him on their team. Like, nobody's going to want him. Like, he's playing in this event, the Spanish Team Championship. The way the Spanish Team Championship works is that basically you hire players. So it's like the German Bundesliga. I played in the Bundesliga. A team hired me. Like, he's not going to be able to, no teams are going to invite him to play for them in the future. Like, nobody's going to invite him. His career is done. I mean, assuming that the evidence is there, his career is done. And it's just, I mean, it's insane. Yeah, who's to say he's a real 2694? He may have been cheating. I mean, who knows, but yeah, it's pretty it's pretty sad. It's pretty sad, and I can't for the life of me understand it. Maybe he really needed money, so he took the risk. You know what's crazy? He doesn't need the money though, you guys. He's getting paid per game. He's getting paid per game. So the way this works for anybody who's watching out there is when you play a league, you get paid per game. So like if he's going to play, he's probably getting like 300-400 euros per game just to play. There's no prize money, and that's how it works. So it's not something where like he wins the game, he gets more money. He's getting paid to play the games. He's getting paid for every game that he plays in the event. That's how these leagues work. And yeah, I mean, it's insane. I can't understand it. I just can't understand it at all. Yeah, it's not a performance thing. No, I mean, it's probably thought if he got his rating over 2700, he might get invites. He probably thought over 2700, he's top 30 in the world, and maybe some organizer will notice him and will get invites. I mean, it's just, yeah, like you go to 2700 chess. I don't know if it shows correctly here, but like he's probably hoping he gets in this top 30 range. And if you get in the top 30 over 2700, you have some chance. But really, just in general, I mean, it's very very disappointing. I mean, there's nothing else. It's disappointing, and honestly, what it says to me is that when it comes to chess tournaments, more has to be done. More has to be done, in my opinion, to try and have secure venues. You have to have secure venues at every event, whether it's this event, whether it's like, you know, whether it's match play, whether it's top level tournaments, all these things. There should be arbiters there should be scans of all the players. These things should be automatically required, period. And yeah, it's what it is. So very, very disappointing. I mean, I assume FIDE, assuming the stuff is there, he's probably going to be a very tough and harsh sentence, is my guess. So yeah, brutal stuff. But that's going to be the article we cover. He played in the Grand Chess Tour earlier this year, as Bruce M writes on X. Yeah, he did. He apparently won last week, and Magus and I weren't playing Title Tuesday, but I mean, that's on chess.com. They have their own stuff. So that's it. Anyway, all right, let's Kramnik's procedures were spot on. Cheating is addictive. Cheating gets more incentive higher level you are, in fact, not otherwise. He's actually wrong. Well, he's wrong on that from the standpoint that basically, well, he's right and wrong. Where he's right is that if you're in this range between like 2600 to 2700, if you could do it and get away with it and get over 2700, then you could be looking at a serious increase in the amount of money you make. There's like, if you look at a risk reward, it's definitely a thing. But above that, it's not, because you're making a living and you're basically, your career is over. I mean, you're gonna have to go back to school and hide in the jungle or something if you cheat. So like there's their levels, like with everything in chess. But I see 2600, 2700. If you could do it and get away with it and get up there, then you get invites. You know, that's an extra 10, 20, 30,000 guaranteed in events. Like there's some argument, but above that, it makes no sense at all.